couple whiskeys, and they'll turn.
Fast.
They'll turn fast. Fast and loose. Give it up for Gil McKinney and David Haydn. Last one, get it! There we go.
I think that was the darkest sizzle finale ever.
Yeah, we,
but I like it though. There was a little premature action.
People will show that.
What?
Huh?
What?
People will show that as a like what not to do in a rock show. And I'm
No, you're good.
by the way, guys. And I'm in a band and I didn't do well. I'm hitting up here going.
That's a meme now.
That's a meme. Guys, hi, buddy.
We missed you last time, buddy. You're looking healthy and everything. Good. See you, buddy. We love you. Who doesn't love Rob?
Love you.
He plays Chuck and God on a show called Supernatural.
That's right.
You may have heard it. Hey, hi. Who was here at yesterday's panel with me and Gil? Who wasn't here? I apologize. Or you're welcome. And did you get your grief counseling on the way out the door? Free for those who are traumatizing. And I feel like we traumatized a lot. Let's be honest. So
We got a lot of compliments, though.
we did.
Yeah,
Well, it goes
so-
one of two ways. That's why I said, you're welcome, or I apologize.
Right.
And then you're covered.
You're covered. You
Or a
covered it
little bit of
all.
both.
My family's here in New Orleans with me, and they wanted to come over today, and I was like, well, I got a panel with David. So for you guys, I left them back at the hotel. Because I would be super uncomfortable. I mean, I'm already uncomfortable, but if my family was here, I would have to...
Here?
Yeah, but not you. I'm worried about myself. I'm not worried about you.
That's what I bring out in you.
We always try to start, very,
We always start
clean cut,
Hallmark, and for
and-
some reason, you bring out the double entendres in us and get us talking about our bladders. It just gets weird. It just gets weird.
It does. All right.
I don't see a lot of people lining up.
That's
to ask
all right.
the most important questions.
Line up,
I guess-
or we're just gonna shoot the shit.
That's what we did yesterday.
Yeah.
We basically interviewed each other.
Who
We
just
forgot
got
you were
here?
here.
Who wasn't here yesterday?
Good.
2 people. Great. There's a fucking Jared photo op going on. Don't you love that?
Oh, dude.
Well, you guys are awesome for being here.
What often happens though too is like me and Adam would come out and they would always have like Jared and Jensen photo ops when we came out.
Yeah.
And just like 3/4 of the
Just
room
clears out.
clears out.
Yeah.
This is real good for the ego. You're, like, you're welcome. Yeah.
We're gonna have photo ops in a little bit, aren't we?
Are we? Come on. If you're on the fence, we brought the blue suits.
brought our
Your
suits.
letter special. We see people lining up. See, that's always, you gotta break the seal.
Yeah.
Just like we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's,
Sometimes you just gotta let it flow.
yeah, that's right. Hi, let's start over here.
Hi, so it's April 1st, so I'm wondering if y'all have any fun April Fool's pranks that you can talk
Oh
about.
man, that I can
Oh.
talk about. Shit. Most of them I had to eventually sign an NDA, and yeah, we settled out of court, so it was fine. But were you big?
I've never been a
Practical
big
jokers?
I mean, not a big one. I mean, on occasion. I've always wanted to be that guy on set that could pull that shit, but like I'm usually the guest on a show, so I want them to keep me around and not fire me.
Yeah, totally, 1,000%. You got to know your place where you can pull it.
Yeah.
I kind of pulled one on set once. Has anyone seen any of my Christmas movies by any chance? It's probably not.
Oh, yeah.
A smattering. So I did one about 11 years ago. I'm not going to name names because I think that would be a bit gauche, because there was a woman involved and she's lovely, and I tricked her. But I had my dear friend, I was shooting in Calgary at the time, and it was snowy. And we had definitely, it was week 2 of the movie, but week 2 of a movie feels like 3 months of working in any other job. Like, you get very close with the crew and the cast really quickly. And my buddy Chris was in town at the time, and he and I had gone out with my co-star, the female lead, had a really nice dinner, super nice, everyone was super friendly, went to bed. The next day is April Fool's Day. But it's like a Wednesday, it's like innocuous, right? I text and call my friend. I gotta call you, are you up? Like 6 in the morning. And I'm like, she's dead. She's fucking dead, bro. After it was like my Academy Award winning performance of my fucking life. I had convinced my friend that me and my co-star went and did fucking lines of blow and drank all night. And she was dead in my bed with like full bloody nose. Oh my God. I was like, you gotta get over here.
It's so messed
You gotta
up.
get over here, man. And then we pranked my driver. I brought my driver who was supposed to be picking me up to set. And I said, call in and be like, she's in my bed. We didn't say dead. And we literally did a cascading joke where he just kept paying it forward.
Yeah.
So the whole set was gonna start changing the day around and calling the lawyers. Like, it got kind of out of hand. And I was like, you gotta radio in. And the thing is, to this day, I let my buddy off the hook like around noon. I was like, I literally called him back 3 or 4 times. He was mortified. He's like giving me advice. And that was, I think you offended a few people. They're like, we're not participating in this. This is a level of ugliness that even free counseling and an NDA. Wow. So now we know where the bar is set. Okay? Really dark April Fool's jokes. But the light side of it is, every April Fool's Day, from now on, after I let him off the hook, he just said the adrenaline and the release, and he almost cried laughing on the phone. He was like, you asshole. And now I got a text this morning, he's like, happy anniversary, darling. So, like, we literally congratulate ourselves on that epic prank every day for 11 years.
So what happens when a girl does OD in your bed?
That's when the large Persian rug comes in. Duct tape.
Yeah.
Duct tape. So just for you playing along at home, Bobby. I'm sorry if that got dark, but it was such a great day.
I love that you shared that.
I got so close to shutting the day down on set. That's when I was like, okay, you got to shut the day down, Joe. Fuck. Because like the first AD, because then I brought the driver in, and then we rolled up, and he was about to get the UPM and start moving the days around. I was like, surprise! April Fools! I almost cost you millions of dollars!
What was the name of this movie?
I don't know.
Christmas movie.
You can figure it out.
It was a Christmas movie?
11 years ago.
Yeah, wonderful. I've never been a big April Fool's guy. I've got this thing. I had this terrible April Fool's experience when I was a young actor, younger than I am now. Yeah, I'm like traumatized by it. It was one of the first jobs I booked. I booked a pilot, a sitcom pilot, and I've never booked one since. And I must have been 24 years old and playing like 15 or something, as we did back then. And we were in the middle of a week of rehearsals for this sitcom, for the live taping with a live studio audience, and everything seemed to be going great. And I was playing the boyfriend of one of the main girls or whatever, like the dumb boyfriend. And the director set us down one morning, again, probably a Wednesday, and set the cast down and told us that by the end of the day, we weren't all going to be there. Because what happens a lot of times with these pilots is, well, it used to happen, I assume it still does, but they'll cast a pilot and they'll shoot the pilot and then they'll watch the pilot and go, we don't like him or her, and then they'll just recast them and fire the poor actors and reshoot it with a new actor because they want it to be perfect for what, they'll usually blame an actor. So anyway, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get fired. because I was one of the more expendable ones. And then she goes, April Fools, and everyone was just like, really? That's the meanest joke for a director to do to a group of actors. Okay, so anyway, I'm like, whew, hilarious. Oh, you got us. That night I'm in my shower. My phone rings. I remember this vividly. My cell phone was sitting on the toilet tank outside my shower, and it was my manager. And I pick up the phone, and I'm like, yeah? And she's like, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. You've been written out of the pilot. And I'm like, ha, like, F you, April Fools. I'm not getting, you're gonna get me twice in one day. And she's like, no, sweetie, it's for real. And so they fired me, wrote me out of the show. And so ever since then, I freaking hate April Fools. I'm like scarred by it.
That's trauma. You just had actor PTSD on stage right now.
Oh.
The fact that you know where the phone is shows that. Can we just give Gil a big old 1, 2, 3, aw? Let's seal it together.
Thanks, guys. I hadn't told that story in a long time.
But you just sparked a whole other thing.
Yeah.
The crazy denouement, or the sad icing on the cake. My female co-star.
Yeah.
Same day, later on in the day,
Actually died.
she found out she got replaced on her pilot, not an April Fool's joke.
I mean,
this is weird,
the one
man.
that said you were standing in your bed. Oh man, poor thing.
She was hoping it was.
She hates April Fools too.
Oh, but she wasn't in on the joke. She was like, "Oh, that's hilarious. You're adorable." I totally.
Yeah.
That's so weird that you just. Anyway, sorry, we went down our own actor rabbit hole. You spurred a lot of trauma for us, so thank you. Well done, and apparently a lot of others who left the building. That's excellent. Well done, everyone.
Yeah, my daughter's like, she's all over it. She's trying to come up with things to do to get us, you know. So far, she hasn't succeeded, but someone over here. Hi.
Hey, Gil, you can answer this too. But
Great.
David, how do you like your mashed potatoes?
A smattering of you know. I've told this story, but I'm not telling it again. You can just go to the internet.
In his pants?
Who was that?
I like my potato. I like a lot of potatoes. Let me tell you. I love butter on potatoes. I like sour cream. I like the whole deal. I like French fries. I'm not afraid to say it. I like roasted potatoes. I like sweet potatoes. I like anything. I like tater tots. You know,
What about scallop potatoes?
I like a good
You like a
cheesy
scallop?
scalloped potato for sure.
Yeah.
Who likes potatoes here? That's a real.
Best panel yet.
That's a real safe question.
What about a stuffed barbecue baked potato?
All of it.
With like brisket in it, or like
I
pulled
love
pork.
the sugary starch.
Oh yeah.
But I think the fact that about 25 people tittered at that means the legacy of that story is living.
I don't know the story.
Well, you're not going to hear it tonight.
All right.
Somebody. No, I can't. Everyone's heard it. Well, no, you haven't.
No, I haven't. I think you gotta tell it.
Do I have to tell it? Yeah. Have you all signed your waivers? Yeah. Okay. Are you all ready for counseling? Yeah. All right, it's real quick. I'll make it real quick, just like I made the mashed potatoes. Who knows the Beastie Boys here? Yeah, Beastie Boys. And you know that sample on all the samples on Paul's Boutique? There's that famous one. It's the famous comedian on the Chitlin Circus, on the Chitlin Circuit, the comedian. You know the famous line. Well, if I was going to be that kind of a party, I would have stuck my dick in the mashed potatoes. You know this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's on the Beastie Boys sample, but if you actually go on YouTube, you can actually hear the whole bit. It's hysterical. Just, you literally Google that. Careful how you Google it, though. Put comedy at the end. Otherwise,
you might actually get
it's
it.
going to take you down a traumatic potato rabbit hole you may not want to go down. Talk about no gratin. Hello.
Or maybe you do.
Yeah, maybe you do. No judgment. So this was right after college, and we were drinking some drinks, as you do when you're 21 years old, and partying. And it was like we were getting hungry. It was 3 o'clock. This is before like all the pizza delivery was closed. You didn't have all this like 24-hour food delivery. I don't even know if we had cell phones yet. That's how old I am. So if you wanted food, you had to make food. Stores were closed. And so me and my buddy Mitch, we were like, why don't we make mashed potatoes? And we're drunk at fucking 2:30 in the morning. We're like, okay. He's like, but if we do, you gotta stick your dick in it.
Oh, miss.
So I did. So we literally drunk off our asses, made mashed potatoes from scratch at 2:30 in the morning, boiled them, smashed them, put butter and cream in them. Dave Aiden Jones got naked, and bonk. And there's 2 Polaroid pictures, Polaroids. Thank God the internet was alive then. But my friend Beth says she still has them in her Bible.
Oh, that's a good spot. Sounds like Mitch was sweet on you.
Well, we had a bromance for sure. There was definitely bromance. But the stories of callow youth. So you're welcome, or I apologize, and again, grief counseling out the door. You can leave at any time.
David, the mashed potatoes look delicious. They're just missing one top.
Oh boy.
Or 2.
A mushroom stamp. Okay.
Make sure you never, David, make sure you never piss her off.
Yeah.
Because
Beth.
those pictures you
Beth, don't piss Beth off.
Don't piss her off.
She, yeah. I intend not to. I think she's way class. She's a lawyer now, so I don't think she's like, I don't think she would do anything like release them like a lot of people do on the internets these days. I just think it would be, I think that she just has the sweet, sweet knowledge that she's got those Polaroids and, you know.
Tucked away in her Bible.
Tucked away in her Bible.
Safekeeping.
Well, you know, sometimes there's a nice Bible passage, you know, instead of earmarking or, you know, you want to just put a nice dick pic of potatoes in there. Just,
A lot of people do that.
that's how we get closer to the Lord. I don't even know what that means. I'm so sorry. I'm a Christian. It's easy. Okay, thanks. Let's move on. What's happening? Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
He's great. He's awesome, obviously.
Talking about murdering co-stars with cocaine.
Have either of y'all had an embarrassing moment happen to you while on set of Supernatural?
Well, I think my most embarrassing moment in life has just literally been the last 10 minutes, but that's my fault. I take full accountability of that. Do you know the helmet story that Jared teased me relentlessly about? That was pretty embarrassing. So I don't know if you could tell at scale here, but I have a gigantic head.
It's pretty big, guys.
Pretty big head.
They said the biggest movie stars have the biggest heads, though.
Well, that's not helping me yet. I'm doing okay.
You're doing all
I'm a
right.
working actor. But it's, who's got big head size, big hat size? So 7 7/8. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just shy of it.
That's large.
Of an 8. I use mirrors in my hairpiece to sort of deflect light to shrink my head. People are like, is he telling the truth? Does he have mirrors in his hairpiece?
Is he wearing a hairpiece?
I swear.
It looks fantastic.
It's fantastic. So Catch, as you know, may know that he rode a motorcycle, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do that motorcycle stunt because the bike was really bad and we didn't have time to train on it. So we were just going to use the stunt guy. The stunt guy had a regular size head, and there's this thing that happens in film and TV production where, you know what I'm talking about, sometimes with hats particularly. Wardrobe thinks it's props, and props thinks it's wardrobe, so no one actually does the due diligence to just find out what your hat size is. And if they had, I would have been like, you gotta get me a double XL of this thing, or you gotta get 7 7/8.
Right.
But with motorcycle helmets, they're not gonna go out, I mean, props, and it was a prop, it wasn't wardrobe. The helmet is in props territory. So props never called me, they just assumed on the day that, you know, like the stunt guy would roll in to the bunker, where we were shooting, the Men of Letters bunker, and then take the head off, and I would do this, and I would get off the bike and sort of roll in, ding, ding, and then take the head off, do a little catch flare, and but when we got to set, they bring me the helmet, and it literally sits on the back of my head like a yarmulke. It's like I'm going to temple. It's like a little Irish party hat for St. Patrick's Day. It's like just sitting back on the crown. And Jared sees this, and you know, like when Jared gets that big, robust, like, I'm gonna fuck with you laugh. He just tore into me mercilessly. He's like, we need a bigger helmet, look at this guy. He starts pulling up on his phone pictures of Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet in Spaceballs. And he's like, hey, props, can we get a Dave Haydn Jones helmet? He just starts telling everyone, we're like, he just roasted me mercilessly for 10 minutes about getting a Dark Helmet's helmet. So that was pretty embarrassing. And then we laughed.
We laughed. That was great.
We laughed.
Oh man, the first one that popped into my head, I think it was my second day on set. I was shooting this thing where I think I was in the motel and I was handcuffed to a chair or something. And like in the moment, like, you know, my adrenaline's pumping and I'm just, you know, I want to do a good job. It's like my second day on the show, and in the scene, like, Henry magically gets out of the handcuffs, right? And the boys are like, what the fuck? And I'm out the door. Well, for some reason, I kind of got wrapped up in it, and I thought I was going to actually break out of the handcuffs. And my adrenaline was pumping too high, and I like cut my wrist, you know. And Jensen was like, "Bro, like, it's just pretend," you know. And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right, Jensen. Shit, I don't know. I just got a little excited there." But he's right. It's like, I mean, you know, it's just pretend. I'm like, okay, you've been doing this how long? It's my second day on set. I mean, Jared loves pulling pranks on set. He definitely.
It's no secret that Jared farts a lot on set, right?
Oh,
they all
gosh.
talk about that.
Well, now they know.
Jesus. Well, I swear to God, that's a known thing.
It is a known thing. It is a known thing. He's a little gaseous.
He's so funny. He's a ninja when it comes to that.
He would he would try to trip me, like as I was entering like a scene. Like just childish shit like that. Like I'm like trying to remember my lines and like make my entrance and deliver and my like into the scene like that, and he's just off camera laughing.
He loves to try to fuck with your coverage. And I remember Jensen just being like, watch the master. And like it became a game for them where like I was watching Jared trying to fuck with Jensen on his coverage. And like Jensen's just like fucking
just locked in,
cowboyed up.
Yeah,
no one fucking with Jensen. I love it. Thanks for your question. All right, goodbye.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I know that Henry and Ketch are from two different eras, but they are both men of letters. So what do you think would have happened if Henry had met Ketch?
Hank?
Oh, Ketch. Oh, you want to take this one?
Yeah, you love this. You know nothing about my character.
I know a little bit. I know you ride a motorcycle and have a ginormous head.
Yeah. I just told you both those things.
It's, you know.
Well, we had been talking about like, what if there had been more of like, if there had been a generational détente? Like, what if like Henry actually knew generational men of letters and the British men of letters? I like the idea that there's actually many national versions of the men of letters. You know, we were talking about like that there would be an international guild somehow, and they had all these like, you know, sort of UN council every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, where they would
From
get
all
together
over.
and like there were like some ninjas and karate and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and that sort of thing. Canadians would be on there, and
What would the Canadians be doing?
they would apologize to Sasquatch. Hey Sasquatch, sorry, hey, you want to make up and have some beers around the fire? Real good. That's Randy Ketch. He's just
Randy?
Yeah, Randy. He's just gonna tease you until you go away. Leave the villagers alone. But I think Hank and my grandfather would have got along maybe fine. Maybe they're a nice, you know, old England and sort of taste of the empire collegiality back then, before they got all sort of Knights Templar.
I would have loved to find out. I don't know a great answer to that question, but I love this guy. I said yesterday, like, I mean, what a cool character he got to play, and I feel like it would have been fun to see those two guys together, for sure.
Well, he's
a man of letters.
I just
so
love the scene work with you.
I think Henry's annoyed with most people out the gate, so.
True story.
Yeah.
True story. It would be fun to do a fight scene with you too.
Totally.
That'd be amazing. Like, because we're sort of like similar height and build. Like, we've been like a good.
Oh, fight each other?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
you and me.
Slap fight.
Pretend. Oh, it's just pretend, Gil.
Sorry.
You don't have to actually
I got
punch
a
me in
little
the face. You're like, are we fucking
Are we
going
going?
down, bro? Are we fucking going here on stage?
You and your practical jokes.
You know I'm sensitive. You know I'm sensitive.
I don't like April Fools.
That was a terrible improv brought to you by David Haydn Jones and Gil McKinney.
You're welcome.
Thank
No,
you.
don't patch me.
Thank you.
We don't want your opinion.
No pity claps.
So two-part question.
Hi. Hello.
Two-part question.
Where has been your favorite locations of film so far? And where would you dream vacation?
Ooh, shoot location in the world?
Yes.
Okay, not just on Supernatural.
Right.
Okay, that's a good question.
The second part was dream vacation.
Dream vacation. I really want to go to Thailand. Anyone go to Thailand? Been to Thailand? A few people. Was it great? Recommend? The silence is deafening. Not an endorsement.
No, here Thailand's wonderful. That's definitely like top 5 for me. I'm gonna go with Ireland actually. I've never been to Ireland. Everyone that goes to Ireland says it's amazing.
No, it is amazing. It's magical. And
Anyone been to Ireland?
Northern Wales.
All right,
Amazing.
yeah.
It's not very exotic, but it was super exotic to me at the time, and it's a really great memory because I was living in Toronto at the time. It was my first year of trying to be an actor. And I don't know if you know, like, just the stepping stones for young actors in their early 20s. Like, a lot of us, you do commercials. That's how you get your union card, that's how you get a little bit of money in the bank, and then you get some residuals going, you can sort of like earn and churn, and you get set experience. So I was in Toronto in January, and anyone here from Canada know Toronto in January? It's very cold. Yeah, there we go. You know, it's snowy, wintry, it's very cold. Terrible sleet, wet, cold in your bones. And I booked an H&R Block commercial that shot in Miami Beach in January. So I'm 22. I gotta be shirtless on Miami Beach, but I'm a little twink at that time.
Oh yeah.
Like just sweet, put a little Speedo on me, I'm good to go. Miami Beach. They put us up in Madonna's hotel. She owned a hotel on South Beach at the time. Gorgeous 5-star resort. Per diem, and this is back in the day when the ad agencies would build in buffer days for weather. It was January in South Beach. There's no weather. It's like 78 degrees and breezy and sunny. We only shot half a day. I was down there basically on vacation, paid vacation, loving it. And when the commercial aired, the whole joke of the commercial, which I didn't realize that they put in post, is I was evading my taxes for the witness protection program. So I was so excited to get my first big national commercial, and my whole face was pixelated out. Why? Because it was like, oh, we're not going to do our taxes this year. We're just going to, and so the joke was,
I got you.
The protection program, let H&R Block do them, so we've escaped to like some southern isle. And so it was still a great job, but it was like, oh, this is my first big TV
Wait, so
commercial.
because they took your face out, they didn't have to pay you residuals?
No, they did.
They did, okay. That was in the contract.
Because your voice is in there.
Right.
And my body. In there.
That body. It's so recognizable at 22.
Ooh. Lordy.
Were you wearing a Speedo for real?
No. Well, I was wearing one under my set.
As you do.
Like as your prosthetic.
As you always do.
Back like yesterday.
Oh, so that was well,
So yeah, it's not super exotic, but it was super exotic.
Oh, and 22 years old?
Like, and you're just like, I'm in South Beach, Florida in January. You're like, I'm getting paid for this. It was wild. It was amazing.
I still love Vancouver. Anytime I don't know, there's something just, when I was 23 or 24, I guess, I did a pilot. It was my first time. It was one of the first jobs I booked. I shot a pilot for 5 weeks in Vancouver called Lost in Space. And it was what was then the WB network. and they did a pilot of Lost in Space, the old show with the they did it again on Netflix. This predates that. Didn't get picked up, never saw the light of day, unfortunately. At the time, it was the most expensive pilot, one of the most expensive pilots they made that year. It was either the same year or the year after Supernatural pilot, so whatever year that was. And it was, yeah, and I was a, you know, 20-something single aspiring actor, and all of a sudden I was in Vancouver for 5 weeks staying at the Sutton Place Hotel, which is this really cool hotel in downtown Vancouver, and John Woo directed the pilot. He's a famous Chinese director. Mission Impossible 3, right? I believe it was the third one. Yeah, but like so much stuff. So, and it was this huge pilot. Anyway, it didn't get picked up, so that sucks. But it was like the time of my life. And so I still have a special place in my heart for Vancouver, and it's just a lovely city. So anytime I can go back there is awesome. And Supernatural, and Once Upon a Time, and yeah, I've got a lot of great memories in that city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great question.
Did you guys just have lunch or something?
We're terribly boring.
I mean, we killed it yesterday.
Oh, hey, man.
You got, yeah,
It's
yesterday.
not all gold up here.
No, it can't be, right?
It's got to come from the heart, man. Hi.
Always. Hi.
Hi, I'm Elise.
Hi.
Hi Gil, David.
Did you sing last night?
Yes, I did.
You did. Great job. Yes, I remember.
Thank you. I was wondering who the most intimidating woman that you have, either of you or both of you have worked with on Supernatural, and who do you think that would be for your characters?
Specifically Supernatural?
Yeah.
The most intimidating woman on Supernatural was Felicia Day, and not in the way you would think. No. Like, actually, she's just such a powerful, smart person. But she leads with such kindness. But she's got this wonderful rigor to her, and she's such an intellectual. And I consider myself kind of a nerd and bonded with her really quickly. And I was like, she's just so cool and quirky and smart, and then she's just got this real power to her. And I just loved when I got to know her a little bit, and sort of we started to build a rapport. And then to have Ketch and Charlie have their sort of have their excursion together. It was just a wonderful experience. But yeah, I mean, her reputation precedes her, and you know she's really strong and smart, and so you're just like, okay, I'm gonna let you lead. I'm gonna see where you let me in and question. And then she was just really nice, and we bonded over our daughters and stuff like that, and we just sort of got soft and mushy after that. So, but yeah, she's amazing. What's that?
Intimidating doesn't have to be a bad thing.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, it wasn't a bad thing. It was just like just showing up with just mad respect for the person, right?
Well, this guy did a lot more episodes of Supernatural than I did. I mean, Elena Huffman is the actress that I worked with the most, and I don't know that I found. I mean, yeah, she's a strong woman, strong presence. I'm sure I was intimidated by her as Abaddon. We actually met on the plane, on the way up to shoot. She sat behind me. She had one of her babies with her. It was like a baby in her arms. And anyway, and then she saw I was like, reading my script, getting prepared, so excited. And she commented on it, and that's how we met on the flight up to Vancouver. But yeah, when you ask the question before you put the Supernatural tag on the question, I worked on a show called Friday Night Lights. And I worked with Connie Britton, and I've never felt so intimidated, and like I'm getting like goosebumps right now. Like she's such an amazing actress, and also like I loved the show so much before I even got to work on it, And I didn't really work with Connie or Kyle Chandler that much, but. There were just those moments where I'm sitting in the living room of this house, of this show. I don't know if you guys have watched Friday Night Lights. I highly recommend it. And I'm sitting in the living room with the family of my favorite TV show. And so it was like, what is going on? It was so surreal, and I was obviously like nervous to meet Kyle and Connie, but I had one scene one day with Connie, and she was just as cool as a cucumber, and I was not. And thankfully, it kind of worked for the scene, but the sound guy pulled me aside and had to like adjust my microphone because he could hear my heartbeat. And like that had never happened before. And I was like, I'm fucking nervous. It's Connie Britton. Shit, like, what do you want from me? But she was so cool. But like, one thing about that show, one thing I think that made that show like very special is the writers wrote beautiful words and the scripts were wonderful. But the way they worked on that show is you did not have to say the words that were on the page. As long as you were advancing the story, you could kind of, you could improv, you could change lines, you could like, and especially Kyle Chandler and Connie Britton, because they're, the two, seasoned actor stars of the show. So when I worked with Connie, I had been memorizing these lines because most of my stuff up until that point had been with Amy Teagarden, and she was younger, and she played their daughter, and she was very much kind of, on the words, as was I. But when I went to work with Connie, she came to set, and I'm waiting, and she came to set, and she got her sides, which are the little printed out versions of the scene, and she looks through it, and she kind of just takes about 20 seconds, and she's like, okay, let's see what happens. And I'm like, oh my God, like I was so nervous, because that's just how she would work. She'd get the gist of the scene, and like, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens, And so it terrified me.
Yeah, and you got to know too, like that is so rare in television. No wonder the show is probably good because they let the actors really make it their own and just so naturalistic, right? As a result, you have this improvisational style. You could probably, audio would do overlaps and they'd shoot it, in singles and stuff. That's so.
I think it gave that show and the way they shot it, just kind of it worked with that style and it just felt very real and awful powerful and natural.
This is the last time I'm going to hear you. No, because like really, it's been one of those shows that slipped through the cracks for me.
Right.
So I just keep hearing it's such a great show. I'm going to go back and I'm going to binge it. I'm going to watch you.
I'm going to watch you.
Watch you. Exciting. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Okay, my question is for Gil.
Perfect.
Thank you.
What was it like to play Sam and Dean's grandfather, even though y'all all were around the same age?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was cool. It was cool. Like, to be honest with you, I knew of Sam and Dean. Some of you know this, I've said this many, many times, but I auditioned for the pilot of Supernatural and I tested for the role of Sam. And so I knew the show. I'd watched some of it over the years. And then I got this audition and I'm sure I knew that it was Henry Winchester, but I don't think that I really put it all together until I got to Vancouver and sat down with the director and started talking about it. But I think when I read for the show, I had a little bit of a beard, maybe a goatee, I don't know, something, and then they wanted me to shave, and I shaved clean. I was like, you guys, if I shave clean, I'm gonna look much younger, and so I did, and of course they're like, oh shit, he's almost looks younger than them in a way. But we all around the same age, and it was cool. I mean, I just thought it was such a cool thing. And I tell people all the time about this show and how I played Sam and Dean's grandfather. They're like, wait, what? You played their I'm like, in flashbacks and time travel, right? They're like, oh, okay. They didn't do age makeup on you. But yeah, it was cool, man. I mean, I'm from Texas. They're from Texas. They're just two of the coolest guys I've ever had the privilege of meeting, and they were so kind and warm and welcoming when I showed up there. It made me feel right at home, and as did the entire crew, cast and crew. It's a very special show in that way.
I thought when I watched your scenes that it made it cooler that you almost were younger than them. That makes the whole time traveling, the way you played the guy was in the period style. It was so great.
Yeah, well, yeah,
it's comedic too,
Well, I think it worked in the end, but I mean, those guys are both so tall and handsome and confident, and it was a bit intimidating at times, obviously, but it worked. It worked. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
As long as you didn't have to wear a helmet, everything's good.
Yeah, that's right.
All good.
Good afternoon. I just want to let you both know you opened the door for this. If your characters fought, who do you think would win?
Catch.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna give him this one. Yeah.
Oh, really? I mean, because I also, they didn't let Ketch do enough magic. Because remember, he is schooled in the dark arts and illusion. So I would have loved a little more like the...
Wait, so is magic on the table or is it straight
magic?
fight?
No, magic. Come on. I got all the things. Ketch doesn't fight fair, by the way. He tased Mary in the back.
Oh,
remember?
Lovely.
Yeah. He beats up women in the show. He's not
Oh,
fight
wow.
fair. He's awful. Yeah, you should watch it sometime. Anyways. So, no, all bets are off. He's got all this arsenal. He's got high-tech gear. He's got magic, prestidigitation. He's got spells. He's a bruiser. He's
Yeah.
Muay Thai.
Yeah, I don't think Henry would stand a chance, unfortunately.
Okay, if we're gonna do just like a straight up fist fight. Hey, you.
Yeah, no, it's straight up fist fight.
Listen, I almost took Dean down, so fair play. I had a really good. What's that? Yeah, and guess what I did? I kicked him right in his injured leg. I don't know, that's Gianni Ketch, okay? I fucking give you some mental letters right up your fucking asshole.
Did you ever headbutt anyone?
I did.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really fun.
They're like,
I got thrown through table. The only two stunts they wouldn't let me do myself was getting thrown into the table. Ketch got his ass beat twice and flipped into like collapsible tables, and I was like, can I please? And they're like, no, that's where the liability hits the road. But everything else was so fun.
it's probably for the best.
No, that's smart. It's a smart move, but you're like,
Of course,
when you're
you
in
want
it,
to do
just
it.
the adrenaline's just like, oh man, you're just like a kid bouncing around like the playground,
I think I said this a couple weeks ago. I worked on a show one time where I was like, I wanted to do the stunt, and even though I was nervous about it, the stunt coordinator was not the best, and I ended up cracking the back of my head open and had to go to the emergency room in the middle of the shooting. Yeah, blood, the whole thing. But it was a great take. They got one shot, and it worked.
There you go.
They're like, shit, real blood? This guy's awesome.
Hey, he pees his pants too. For those of you from yesterday.
So method.
You're just so good, man. God, I respect you.
Thank
Hi, David.
Hi, I'm Landon. I'm
Hey, Landon.
Mississippi. I came here because I love Supernatural. I have a question for you. What was the most embarrassing retake you ever had to do?
The most embarrassing retake? Well, I did mine already. Trying to figure out how, because this is the problem too with the helmet. It screwed up a really nice shot. That was the other problem with the helmet, is that it really pissed the director off actually, because there was this beautiful shot where they were gonna push me in on the motorcycle at the sound in post. I get off, there's this huge crane shot. It comes into my dark helmet, not the dark helmet. And then I flip the visor and I take it off.
Yeah.
And if you can't see me taking the helmet off, the whole shot, the reveal is done. It was going to be a really cool shot. So there was it wasn't my fault, but which is interesting. So I cured this. Does anyone remember any of the State Farm commercials with Aaron Rodgers and whatever? I did this one with, I'm just trying to remember if you remember it. Not like, please bathe me in your applause. No, because the callback is, I had this really funny bit where I'd bring Aaron Rodgers a motorcycle, and I remember I saw motorcycle, helmet, bit, and I triple called production. I was like, let me talk to props. No, let me talk to props. I was like, you gotta get a double XL, please, promise, this is not gonna happen again. I had PTSD from Jared. And so they actually got me an oversized helmet with 3 visors that clipped, and so then it became part of the comedy too, because I'm like, click, 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 as I drive off on the motorcycle. But yeah, that was pretty embarrassing, because it screwed up shot.
Yeah, that's never a good feeling when you screw up the shot, right?
But it was also going to be an epic shot for the character.
Sure. It wasn't your fault. It's your head. What do they want, They should have been prepared.
It hurts.
Oh man, embarrassing moments on set as an actor, I think, yeah, it was a long list. it never feels good when you screw up a shot, especially if it's something that takes a lot of time, right? I was working on, I was on ER years ago, and ER did a lot of those, I mean, they kind of made them famous, really, but they did a lot of those long walk and talks, right? And it was, as a young actor, it was really good for me, because it was good training, you know? I learned a lot working on that show. But I remember one day, I was working with John Stamos, and I had like one line, like one simple line, and John had this long walk and talk, like through the hospital, and they're on him, and it's the end of the day, and he did this long walk and talk through the ER, and then my character just comes out at the end and delivers one simple line, and I effed it up. And I felt so bad, and he like was like, "Come on, Gil!" But like kind of half joking, like he wasn't really mad, but he was kind of mad, and I felt terrible. Yeah, so those always suck. You never want to be that guy.
Well, did you hear who was fan of the West Wing? Do you remember the West Wing? Some folks here, yeah. Remember all those long oneers they call them, like where they're going through the hallways, and those are terrifying for actors, because you're like, if anything messes up, they look great when they work,
right? But
you got to rehearse them, and it's a whole choreography, and then every word's got to be clean, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And so Adam was telling me the story, because like he was working with a few of the cast, and they said what they would do with guest stars, because they knew guest stars coming in would just be sort of shit in their pants, like, oh my God, I got to do a oneer. I'm here with all these veterans on the show, and if I screw up one of these oneers, oh, it's going to feel terrible. So one of the stars on the top of the thing, when they would do the oneer, would screw it up near the end on purpose to let them feel at home. Like we do it all too. Isn't that great?
That's great. You can tell me who that is later. But
Adam will tell you the story.
That's
a really generous.
That's rare.
Yeah, exactly.
That's super generous.
So that's just a little inside sports for you about how we screw up on set all the time.
Well, West Wing, what a great show.
Hi.
Hi, I have a question for both of y'all. If y'all could change the endings, because I know Ketch's ending was kind of like really sad for me. If y'all could change y'all's endings to whatever, what would y'all choose?
I would...
life?
Yeah.
To be alive?
I would have loved a reveal, this is my headcanon, that after Ketch died, and you see Rowena as the queen of hell, you pull back and you see like Ketch in this like 3-piece leather outfit, on his knees with a leash on her throne, as Rowena's manservant in hell! Someone write that for AO3, would you? Get on it. I'll buy it. I'll read it at the next panel.
David, what do you know about AO3?
What do you know about AO3? What do you know about AO3? Okay.
No, but question. Since you know the whole sick thing, you want a whip to add to that? You know, fancy little leather whip for Rowena.
I think you're revealing more about you than you are about me. Yeah, I'm jeting back to Coolsville on that one. Hey, but thank you. Great question. Just life.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, hi. The band sits in judgment. They're like, Dave, where's he going? Where's he gonna go? It's gonna be responsible.
You guys with the 2 suits, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I can't tell if you're like, you put on a show or selling insurance. I can't.
Both?
You're gonna love this policy, man. You're gonna love it. Change your life. You both look dapper, so dapper.
We're trying to...
Well,
It went great, Rob.
good. I was just gonna ask that.
So thanks for being so nice and patient with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to our weird stories.
We had such a...
Thank you.
All over the map.
Thank you.
You never know where these are gonna go.